Welcome back to the Slasher Siblings podcast. I'm your co-host Cicely.
I'm your host Hayden.
Today we have a special guest. His name is Matthew. So if you hear any side comments from him, you know who it is. Today we're talking about April Fool's Day. Came out in 1986, rated R, an hour and 29 minutes long, and it got a 6.1 out of 10 on IMDb. 9 college students staying at a friend's remote island mansion begin to fall victim to an unseen murderer over the April Fool's Day weekend. But nothing is as it seems.
Go ahead and read the question.
Question from last week, question mark. What movie stars professional wrestler Roddy Piper as a drifter who discovers a box of special sunglasses? Answer, They Live.
We need to do that movie. I haven't seen that one. Not all the way through. I've seen pieces of it, and everyone says it's really good, so we're going to have to do that once at some point.
Yeah, add it to the list.
Add it to the list of many other ones.
And if you got that, good job. If not,
better luck next time.
I was trying to beat him to it. Okay.
Sorry we missed last week. Last week.
Uh-huh.
We had a death in the family and a funeral to deal with, so it's been a little crazy busy.
A little bit.
We have a movie to end April and kind of start May, and that's our April Fool's joke to you because you thought we were coming out with a new episode, but guess what? We didn't.
Guess what? Nope.
Okay, so let's get into this here. I liked the opening of it opening on like a home video between all the friends.
Uh-huh.
I kind of liked the look of that, and it was more of like they were actually on vacation or something and they were just recording. You know what I mean? I really liked the way that looked. The aesthetic.
The aesthetic.
And then she was cleaning up the basement. And I just thought that the exchange between her and her mom or whatever was like kind of awkward in a way. Because she was like kind of just cleaning up the basement all by herself, picking up these heavy things. And then the mom was like, well, you need help? And she's like, no, I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well,
all right.
Fine.
Girl.
It just seemed weird to me. But I really liked as well the credit roll over the birthday party.
Uh-huh.
I thought that was really interesting to see. Because it's not like many movies that just have like a silent video over like a little girl's birthday party while they show the credits.
Yeah.
And it kind of adds like sort of an eerie factor to it.
Yeah, because you're trying to figure out what's going on.
You're trying to figure out what the movie's about, number one.
Uh-huh.
And number two, it's kind of an eerie thing, like, is this actually about April Fool's Day and they turn it into a birthday? Are they on the same day?
What's going on?
What's going on?
Yeah.
And then they're all showing up to the pier, or whatever you want to call it, the big boat. And that girl just seemed to be the odd one out. Like, no one really was talking to her, and they thought that she was weird, and she was like, oh, I'm going to read and do homework and all this other stuff, and they're just like, okay, you weirdo.
Freak.
You freak.
Okay, freak. Do your homework.
And she just seemed to be the odd one out. There's always got to be that one person in the group that's kind of just there, I guess, in every horror movie, it seems. But then they seem like a normal teen group. Like competing with one another, messing around with each other, picking on each other. It just seemed like they captured sort of like the camaraderie or whatever. If I use that word correctly, the vibes. They got the correct vibes. And there is, I don't know if I wrote it down. No, I didn't write it down, but they all hung out outside of the movie so that they could get to know each other or whatever for the movie. So it was noticed.
That's cool. Yeah.
Then there's the April Fool's prank on the boat, which knocks. Was it Skip? Was his name Skip?
I don't remember.
They were playing a game where they throw the knife and stick it into the floor, and I don't know what the game was exactly. But he got the one guy who kept losing got mad and threw it at him, the knife, and it stuck into his stomach, which knocked him
Could
into
you
the water.
imagine?
I know, that'd be crazy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, dude.
So Buck, one of the ferry operators, I guess you could call him, he was like the deckhand, jumped in after him, trying to look for him. They couldn't find him, and here he comes up, and it was actually an April Fool's joke. It was a fake knife thing that stuck out, which is actually kind of cool.
Imagine seeing that, like, as a
I
joke.
know, but like, that's pretty clever, to be fair.
I would poop my pants.
I know. It'd be pretty scary, but it's still, that's the clever one. You got people. Good job. And so Buck stays in the water instead of getting back on the ferry, right? And he's gonna try to lasso the boat anchor onto the dock. Ends up getting crushed under the boat. Just rips his eyeball out, which is disgusting.
Very gross. Yeah.
And he's screaming and yelling, and this boat shows up, and it was the sheriff, and he let them take him back to land to get Buck to the hospital to try and save his face. It looked pretty bad. So I don't know if there was saving his face or that eyeball, for that matter.
That eyeball, definitely not that eyeball.
So they arrive at the house after the sheriff told him, "Don't go nowhere. I need to know where you're at." And they start messing around with each other. One thing I didn't understand was why he jumped up on the chair to look out the window. Because the blind was up there too. He had to bend over to look out the window. So what was the point in jumping on the chair to look out the window if he had to bend over anyway?
So dumb.
It's so dumb. But they're all messing around and messing with each other, you know, as a normal teen group would do. And, you know, it's just also a nice little thing that they did with each other. What you could see, like how you saw that their work outside of the set, like getting to know each other, was duly noted. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know what the hell that rant was about, but then they're all sitting down at dinner, and the girl that they find weird ends up sitting on a whoopee cushion.
Oh, yeah.
Which was pretty funny.
At first I was like, is she actually farting?
And then she just, you know, sits on it real quick and pulls the whoopee cushion out, which I thought was actually kind of funny. But then it was like a high to low where they were talking to the one kid, and he was like, "I'm not getting into medical school. They think I'm not serious enough."
Talking about his
I was
grades.
like, listen, you have good grades, and they think that you're not serious enough? How exactly can they tell that?
It's just because he looks like a douche.
Maybe. But that kind of seems messed up to me, to be denied from a school just because you don't look serious enough. That seems stupid. And then there's just weird things or pranks, I don't know which one it was, that were happening. Like the baby crying on the tape.
Yeah, that was interesting.
The weirdest
That
one.
was interesting.
That would probably creep me out the most. It's just a recorder of a baby crying in my wardrobe that wasn't there 3 seconds ago.
Yeah, I would cry and run away. I'd scream, cry, and run away.
And then people were finding like weird stuff in their drawers, like the handcuffs and
Oh, yeah.
whatnot. It's just so weird just to show up at this house that you've never been to, and then immediately you're just getting weird vibes. Seems like a pretty normal horror movie, but
Yeah.
then Muffy is acting really weird at this point, because we met her in the beginning of the movie and she was pretty normal, but then at this point it's like,
What's wrong with
what's
her?
wrong with her? Why is she acting so weird, you know? So that was unexplained, kind of, till the very end, I guess. But like,
Yeah.
it's just like it goes on the whole movie. She's just being so weird, and she wasn't even the weird one. It was that other girl that they thought was weird.
Yeah.
So that didn't make sense. But they can't find Skip, and they're, you know, searching around for Skip because he just ended up disappearing, which was also weird. But Muffy is still just so strange.
What's up with Muffy?
I don't get it. I mean, I do get it now, but like, I'm acting as if I'm watching the movie currently, and it's just so weird watching her act like this. Like, she was so normal in the
Like
beginning.
something's going on.
Yeah,
with
something
her.
weird is happening.
Yep.
Whether she's really upset or what. But then there's the scene where they're going in the well. That's pretty disgusting.
Yeah,
Like,
that was nasty.
I personally
That was a
wouldn't go
hard
down.
watch.
Yes. I personally wouldn't go down in the well myself.
I would not. Nope.
I'm too scared of spiders to go down there. And I couldn't imagine the tarantulas that are in that well.
In that water.
Yeah, that water was
That's
disgusting.
So gross.
It's like you'd get a disease just by looking at it.
Yeah.
Almost. It was gross, but it was actually dyed that way. They
Ew,
died. It was clean.
Okay.
It was clean water. They just had to make it murky, which is good. At
I'm
least
glad it wasn't actually like disgusting
Yeah.
water.
Then she's down in the well. The ladder breaks, right? She falls all the way in. She's just sitting there, and these heads pop up. One was Skip, and one was the guy who went to look for Skip. Which is pretty messed up to think, because you're just thinking, oh, this is a normal, vacation, blah, blah, blah. You fall in a well, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's two heads of my friends.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Now what?
Yeah, now what? Exactly. What do you do in that situation? I mean, I guess what she did, and just freaking out. But then they're back at the house, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. And she gives her a glass of water, and now she's scared of water. Or at least that
Freaked
water
out
from
by
the
it.
well.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I'm not drinking the well that had my friends' heads in it.
Yeah, why would you?
She's like, no, this is different water.
Okay.
Where'd the different water come
Where'd
from?
you get
Because
that water?
you just sent them to get water from
Yeah.
the well.
Is
So
there another
something's
well?
not adding up here.
Yeah.
You're still acting weird, Muffy. I still don't trust you. But they were looking for guns. And Muffy said, oh no, we don't keep guns in the house. Well, Muffy, maybe you should.
Well, Muffy.
You got a killer running around, chopping people's heads off, and you don't have any guns in the house.
Might be a bad idea.
But, what was his name? Harvey or something? Harold or... I can't remember his name, but the dude snuck a gun in with him. That would end up being me.
Yeah.
Go to this weird cabin.
That's so you.
But he snuck in a gun just for protection. He pulls it out and makes sure it's loaded, and he takes it, hides it in his belt, and all that stuff, all that good stuff. So at least they're not unprotected for the remainder of their trip. But Chaz was ended up getting killed, pretty gruesomely. I might add.
Definitely.
And it's not so much like a gruesome factor, but like his girlfriend left the room and came back, and the dude was just like stabbed in the special area.
The ween.
The ween. I can't imagine like the pain he must have went through getting stabbed there.
Yeah.
You know?
Nasty.
But then she turns around after finding Chaz dead, and there's just the guy behind the door. So is this the killer?
Yeah.
You know, we don't know truly, but it was just weird that the guy was already there behind the door waiting for her. Well, he did kill Chaz. But then they call the sheriff because something weird was happening. They found more dead bodies and all this other stuff. And the sheriff was like, don't trust Muffy. So,
what does the sheriff know?
What does the sheriff know, and
Right.
what do we not know about Muffy?
Right. What's up with Muffy?
What's going on? I don't know. But we do know that everyone's just turning up dead.
Yep.
Everywhere, left and right, and it's eventually they're gonna kill everyone. Which, I don't know, it just seems crazy that they go to this house for vacation, and then they just end up dying.
Yeah. Could you imagine?
No.
Worst vacation ever.
Go to the lake and then being in a house with a serial killer.
Yeah, no thanks.
Michael Myers.
Yeah, no thanks.
But then we find out she has a twin sister, Buffy, by all the clues in the basement.
Buffy and Muffy.
Buffy and Muffy.
Stupid.
So the Buffy was in an insane asylum, and she escaped, and now she's killing everyone. Why
Psycho.
though?
Just for fun.
She's just crazy.
Just for
Ends
fun.
up turning into Michael Myers.
Yeah, she does.
But then she starts chasing the last two, which was a pretty anxiety-inducing couple scenes where
Yeah.
the door's locked and she's trying to break down the door, and she locked that guy in the closet and
Yeah.
starts chasing the girl
Yeah.
around the house, almost killing her and everything. And she runs into this room, and guess what? Everyone's alive, just sitting there chilling,
Yep.
reading books and playing games and acting like nothing happened. I wrote, "Everyone is alive?" Question mark. What's going on? Is she hallucinating?
Yeah.
And it's like a big turn of events. Just, you've spent this whole movie thinking that everyone's dead and dying and there's a killer, and then all of a sudden, joke's on you, April Fool's Day.
Yep. Just kidding.
And everyone, jumps, starts laughing, and says, "Oh, that's an April Fool's joke." That is one
That's
elaborate
messed up.
April Fool's
Yeah.
joke.
Very planned.
And in the closet, currently, while she's getting the rundown of the April Fool's joke, her boyfriend's in the closet with Buck, who got his face ripped open, who pulled the prosthetic off of his face and slapped it to the other kid's face. And he let him out of the closet, and he went running into the room
I would have
to find out also that it was a April Fool's joke. So she's going through the whole thing, like, "Oh, these people are my uncles. They dressed up and pretended. This guy made the fake heads and the makeup and all that other stuff." And it's just like, you went to some great lengths to
do this joke.
do this joke
Yeah.
on these two people. And I don't think it truly explained why exactly those two people did it.
Why they targeted those two?
Those two specific
No, I don't
people.
know.
I don't remember them saying that in the movie,
Me either.
but it was still pretty funny, to be honest. I gotta admit, it was pretty clever, pretty
It
good.
is a good joke.
But okay, everyone left, everyone's settling down and everything, and she walks into her room, Muffy does, and there's a present on the bed, and she opens it up, and it's a little Jack-in-the-Box.
Little Jack-in-the-Box.
She opens the Jack-in-the-Box, and then all of a sudden, she gets her throat slit.
Yep.
So was there a killer? Oh, nope, she moved her hands, her throat's fine. So it was a revenge joke. Which is actually kind of funny. Because you did it,
Yep. Yep.
we got you back already, immediately. Which was pretty
Karma.
good. Karma. Yeah, and it was a pretty good joke. Like, she had a fake knife, and then she had like this squeezy thing that looks like the stuff that you get the wax out of your ears to squirt the blood all over. I think she was dead.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Pretty good.
I like that one. But that's how the movie ends. And we find out that this whole movie was the April Fool's joke.
Gotcha.
And
this is in 86 that they thought of this.
Yeah,
I think they should remake this movie.
Oh yeah, with today's technology
Yep.
and stuff.
I think they
But
should.
it was pretty clever for an 80s horror movie, because
think
I
so
don't
too.
really can't really think of anyone or any other movie that really did this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Pretty clever.
So I would probably give it a 7, actually.
Yeah. I'd give it a 6.5, 7.
Because I really liked...
It was clever.
It was clever. The joke was good. It was tasteful, to be honest with you.
Yeah, for sure.
And, they got the revenge joke at the end, which I kind of liked. I guess there was a different ending. I didn't look up what the different ending was, but I guess they didn't like it, so this was ended up being the better ending. So yeah, I give it a 7 because, the makeup looked really good. The deaths actually looked pretty real, even though they were fake even in the movie. But, yeah, I really enjoyed watching this movie. I'd watch it again.
Yeah, me too.
For
I probably will.
maybe not like today or something.
Yeah,
but
not
probably
like today.
Maybe like April Fool's Day next year.
Yeah,
I might
that'd be
watch
cool.
it. It might become like a
Celebratory thing.
celebratory thing, exactly. So I got a couple fear facts here. One's on my phone. It was really long, so I just screenshotted it, and I'll just read it to you guys. But for the very first one, so the magazine reading with all the questions,
Yeah.
that was actually improvised
Oh, wow.
because they were sitting around and they were sitting around just, chilling and everything on the set, and they were reading their own Cosmopolitan magazine, right? And they were answering the questions and stuff with each other
Uh-huh.
as like friends, and they were having fun and laughing, and it caught the attention of the director, and he was like, "Whoa, I love that. Why don't we do that
Uh-huh.
in the movie?" So he gave them a different magazine with different questions and had them do it right in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Completely improvised. Which is very interesting to me, if you want to ask me. Pretty smart, too.
Yeah.
So, for the second one, since this movie is light on violence, there's not too much violence in the movie, it actually got a late night TV spot
Oh, wow.
and ended up getting a cult following because of it.
Oh, wow.
And people actually
Interesting.
liked the movie because it was actually good enough for TV, because there wasn't too much violence.
Yeah.
And honestly, even though, the gore and stuff in the movie was fake for making the movie, it was fake even in the movie. So it wasn't like real fake
It was never
gore.
real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Kit, I don't know which, actress was named Kit. I don't remember. But the director had observed that Kit may have been gaining weight during the filming.
Interesting.
I don't know why that matters or why
Yeah.
he brought it up, but her answer to that wasn't offended or anything, but she was just like, "You hired this amazing caterers. Well, it's your fault.
Yeah.
Like, you hired
I'm
all
eating.
these people to give us this great food. What do you want me to do? Not eat it?"
Yeah, period.
And for the fourth one, this movie was entirely shot in British Columbia, Canada,
Wow. That's
With-
cool.
with mostly American actors or whatever, which is pretty interesting. A movie that was entirely in Canada is pretty cool, especially April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
So for the final fear fact, which is a longer one, and it's very interesting to me, is that there are several clues through the film which foreshadow the twist ending. Number one, in the very first scene, Muffy can be seen propping open the window in the cellar through which Kit and Rob crawl in and discover the clues. This was deliberate and crucial to the climax she had planned. Number two, Nan says that she met Muffy in Drama Society. Her acting ability proved to be a vital asset in order to portray her fictitious twin sister Buffy. Number three, Deborah Foreman's nails are painted red through the entirety of the movie, a subtle clue that Muffy and Buffy are the same person.
Oh, interesting.
And number four, the final one, Muffy/Buffy announces that the water main must be broken. However, later in the evening, when Nikki is packing her bags, she absent-mindedly turns on the sink and gets sprayed in the face with water, a clear indication that the water is working fine.
Yep.
It's pretty
Interesting.
that someone caught those, and that, like, I was, watching the movie, and I was kind of like, okay, they said the water wasn't working, but how did she get sprayed? But I didn't think anything of it.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was a clue. I noticed it, but it didn't click in my head that it was a clue to the end. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
I was like, oh, that's weird. I thought the water was broke. Maybe they fixed it, whatever. And I just kept watching
Maybe
the
they
movie.
fixed it. I didn't even notice, to be honest.
But yeah, I enjoyed that movie. I thought it was very interesting. It hasn't been really done like that before, And just the simple fact that it was this twist ending like that, like a legit April Fool's joke.
I liked it.
I liked it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
And yeah, so if you want to watch it, it was free on Pluto TV.
Yep.
I just got on my computer and watched it. You can get on Pluto TV and just search it up, and they'll let you watch it and stuff. Which is pretty good that you don't need another subscription. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that it would really be that expensive to watch Pluto TV anyway, because no one truly watches much TV anymore. But so, with that, we didn't pick our main movies yet. We've been so busy. What should we do as the first movie?
Maybe we should. Yeah, let's do that.
Let's just do May Live or May Live.
Love.
They Live for our kind of first movie in May, even though this is the first movie in May.
Yep, that works.
First movie back on the schedule.
Back on the schedule, back to regular programming. For this week's question, we have Harry Potter's Daniel Radcliffe starred in this 2012 film about a vengeful ghost.
Question mark?
What is it? What do you think?
Oh. Yeah, I almost flipped you the answer like you were going to read it or something.
Right.
So, as I said last episode, a friend of mine actually wanted to be a guest on the podcast, but we were just so busy with everything in April, I didn't get a chance to talk to him about it. But the plan is for May, maybe the next episode.
Yeah.
Possibly, well, after
We'll
They
see.
Live.
Yeah.
Possibly we can get him to be a guest, and we'll start having guests again.
That'd be cool.
We also, once again, apologize for missing a week. We were busy with the funeral and everything.
Yeah.
And as always, we appreciate you still listening, whoever's listening out there.
Whoever's listening, thank you.
And we thank you, and we still enjoy watching the movies, even if no one might be listening.
Yeah.
Even
if nobody's listening to this.
We're just glad to be watching the movies, and maybe someone catches a glimpse of a few seconds.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you know that answer to the next question,
Hit
check
us
it
up.
out or put the answer on Facebook on one of the posts. And we will catch you next week with They Live.
Matthew says bye. Catch you later.